Alright, hello YouTube, welcome back to the Rickon YouTube channel. Today's video, we will be continuing our 25 days of Winds of Winter. And today's, we're going to be doing Rickon. I feel like he's a low-key, like, kind of sneaker favorite of the community. I don't know, I feel like every time I do a video talking about Rickon, usually does well. You guys have a lot to say about Rickon. And I want to say this is one of those situations where I am not the lore master of A Song of Ice and Fire. I don't know everything. I don't have the greatest opinions at times. And this is where you guys definitely changed my mind. I was someone that thought Rickon was not too much of a significant character. I thought he was probably going to die in Skagos or something along those lines. And I think after discussing with a lot of the community, I think Rickon does have a part to play, which we'll discuss in this video. But I also wanted to say, if you guys had any questions that you wanted to ask me for the Q&A for the 2,000 subscribers special, let me know. They could be A Song of Ice and Fire related. They could be related to this video. They could be about me personally. It can be about anything, really. If you want to ask me, like, what my favorite Pokemon is, for instance, you could do that. But before we get into the video, if you guys like to like, subscribe, and comment, please do it. Up, share, and grow. Richard Peel might like this content as well. And let's get into it. So, Rickon Stark, right now, as I just said, is in Skagos, and Davos has been kind of sent there to recollect Rickon, I guess is how you would phrase that, and bring him to the north. He is going to be the person that the Manderleys can rally behind because he has Stark blood. He is the male line of Ned Stark. Very important at this point because really the north is looking for someone to rally behind. And this is also important for another aspect of the story. Wyman Manderley is willing to support Stannis as king if Rickon is found by Davos. So this has a couple things for the story that are pretty major. And what I've always thought is that, and what I've kind of picked up on and what the community has really talked about a lot is, I think Rickon will be a very different character than what Davos is expecting. Davos is expecting to find this younger kid that maybe is lost, alone, afraid. I think Rickon will very much be a character that is very much like a wolf. He's like the actual persona of what a wild child is in this world, where we see how as you warg into your direwolf more, and the more time you spend in the mind of your direwolf, the more wolf-like you become. And I think that is what Rickon is going to be. Rickon is going to be this kid that really is not fit to rule. Again, he's very young at this point. Remember, at the start of the story, he was 3. So he's still very young. He is not going to be in any position to be ruling the North. So what I've come to think about Rickon's plot is that Rickon will be the person to begin with that will be who everyone rallies behind. But there's a big but with that. And I think the North will be ruled kind of as a joint council almost, where I could see it being Jon is kind of the Lord Protector for the North, right? So we see how Ned was supposed to be king for Joffrey until he became of age. Maybe Jon is going to be put in a similar role until we find out Jon's true parentage, where maybe we get the Rob's will, which should be a major factor with Howland Reed, and Galbert Glover, and also Lady Mormont, who were supposed to be around that area. And they will probably reveal that Jon has been legitimized. Now, we could also see that Howland Reed confirms who Jon's actual parents are as well. So I think a lot of that will play into it. But I think Rickon, for the most part, outside of being a figurehead for the North Remembers or the Northern Conspiracies, is more or less a figurehead. Now, what I could see of Rickon is he could be someone that as he grows up, maybe he becomes the actual ruler of the North, because I don't think Jon will become king. I don't think Jon becomes ruler of anything. I don't think Jon would want that. And after his experiences with Lord Commander, his only real experience of being a lord, I don't think that's what he would want. I don't think Jon wants that. And I think if Jon was to get a happy ending, it would be something like we saw in the show where he just lives his life out with the wildlings, something that I think Jon really liked doing. And the freedoms that came with that, where you're not expected to bow to a lord or this or that, and there's not as much of a hierarchy with the wildlings. So I think Rickon could be in a position maybe where he does eventually come into the rulership of the North. I just don't think so. I think Rickon is a kid that is very ill suited for that role, but I think Rickon does play a major factor in people uniting behind him in Winds of Winter. And I think that's going to be his main purpose for the story, is getting all of the North to, if they're not going to support Jon or support Stannis, support Rickon. Rickon is a Stark child of Ned. I think people would be able to get behind that. And Jon himself is going to be a very changed character, where I think he may have some side effects from being brought back, where maybe he's a little bit more angry. Maybe he's a little bit more wolf-like because he will be in Ghost and then presumably coming back into his body. So maybe he will be more animalistic in his nature as well, just like Rickon. So I think Rickon to me is a character that I think he survives. I don't know why he would die in any situation. And if he did die, I don't know what the significance it would be after, like, Jon has been kind of named this person that could inherit both the throne and the North. As well as you just have other people that are going to be kind of coming into fruition with Bran still being alive, all these other characters. So I think Rickon is a minor character, but at the same time, he does have a role to play in Winds of Winter. And let me know what you guys think about all of this. Let me know if you guys have other stuff that you think Rickon could be a big part of. But for me, I think his role is really just uniting the North under one banner and helping get everyone on the same page. And it's not even going to be because Rickon does that himself. It's because others are going to use that, right? Someone like Wyman Manderley can use that, hey, we have Ned Stark's son. So thank you guys all for watching the video. I know it was kind of a shorter one compared to the other ones, but there's just not a ton to talk about on Rickon, in my personal opinion, outside of what I talked about in this video. So that will lead us into our next video, which will be Bran. So we'll be having Bran, I know everybody's favorite character. We'll be talking about Bran, what he's going to be up to in Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys.